Welcome to the session for Young YAFCEANs in 2020. And they're joining up with a discussion with Bunker Labs Atlanta. And before we dive into that, we're going to have a quick overview of the local chapter. The local chapter, YAFCEA Atlanta, is a not-for-profit organization. We've actually been around for 75 years. And I'm not going to read the slide, but we have a great relationship with a number of organizations in and around Atlanta. Corporate organizations, universities, and like the USO and some nonprofits. So, if you haven't heard about it, there's plenty of opportunity to get involved. What our chapter focus on is on the STEM environment, science, technology, education, and math. And we have regular meetings that are focused on things that are important to the membership here, and it can be anything from whatever the hot topics of the day are, or if you need CEUs, like we've got a CMMC class coming up next month that's will allow people to self-certify for CEU classes, and then we partner with universities and schools in the area, do teaching tool grants and scholarships, and judge science fairs and things like that. Kind of a highlight of the year for a lot of the members is the USO support thing. Last year, we supported USO as they had thousands of people coming home for Christmas. So we were at the airport and greeted them when they came home, gave them some little goodie bags, made food for them, and helped basically support them until they could get on the next leg of their journey. And that's one of the bigger kind of volunteering events that we do. We also do small industry days or small business industry days where we have our corporate sponsors, members, and get together to show what they can do and to share some collaborative efforts that we've worked with. Prior to COVID canceling it, we actually had a Department of Homeland Security Industry Day scheduled in May, and that's been pushed back to 2021. We're still in the process of getting that finalized. As COVID kind of just evolves, we'll see where that goes. And that is what I have. So Blair?
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Well, hey,
take it from here.
Since we have a couple new faces to YAFCEA, glad to get a quick overview. And I think I saw Taylor log in as well, but yeah, real quick before we jump in and allow the Bunker Labs team to give an overview. We're really looking forward to it, guys. So appreciate all of you showing up. And collaborate. I think this will be some great collaboration here. So quick for the new faces and being exposed to YAFCEA. One, Paul gave a great overview, but YAFCEA Atlanta in particular, each chapter has a young professionals portion, 40 and under. So Taylor and I are co-VPs on the board. And, in terms of being local to that, there's a great footprint, as many of you know, even though we did have some base realignment consolidation, there's such a great footprint here of industry. And so when you go back to the spirit of bringing industry and defense, federal integration together, that's the whole point. That's the whole spirit of YAFCEA, is to network, expose everyone's technologies. Because really at the end of the day, right, I mean, we've got some great folks, on the team, including Brett, Brett Frontline, prior Green Beret. He'll tell you right now, if he doesn't have the technology to do the job, the novelty wears off pretty quickly. So you have to bring industry with the warfighter, with the federal service member together. That's the whole spirit of this. So glad to be a part of this board. So with that being said, looking forward to talk today, folks. We got a great discussion. I think you're all going to find this helpful and relevant. And I'm curious to see where this goes, because this is where these conversations start. Before I introduce the Bunker Labs team, a quick story that I saw firsthand. Coming off active duty myself as an Army officer, I went to work for what you may have all now heard of now was AirWatch, which was acquired by VMware. Well, AirWatch, guys, in its infancy, this concept was, hey, can we send email to mobile phones and make that an agnostic thing where it's just besides one piece of hardware? And guys, you know the rest of the story. I mean, that's when these conversations start. It's the incubator ideas, the technology. Hey, this is the concept. Can it be done? And as you progress and bring the right people to the conversation, connect the dots and expose them to the capabilities, then we see some great things happening. And AirWatch is acquired by VMware, and now enterprise mobility management is a major portion of every single defense entity's organization. They have actual roles who manage these. So that's where I'm excited about Bunker Labs. That's where this stuff starts. That's where the rubber meets the road with Bunker Labs. So with that being said, I think it'd be natural to Brett, and one of our own YAFCEAN chapter secretaries. So thanks, Brett, for broken introduction here. If you'd like to introduce the Bunker Labs team, love to give the floor to you and allow you guys to take it from there.
Sure. Well, hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Blair. Being actually, I have a little bit more longevity with Bunker Labs, but hey, man, we're not comparing right now. However, I am also like the brand new secretary here at YAFCEAN. What a great organization. It didn't take me very long to see the potential and synergy that we have between these two organizations. And so I want to take it upon myself to get like some decision makers within the Bunker Labs Atlanta chapter here to kind of like help us connect those synapses. So we have Jason Smith and of course Andrew Davenport on the line, and we'll turn it over to them. Jason, you want to start?
Sure. Thank you so much. I'll be playing MC from the Bunker Lab side until I've got to drop off, and I'll take some time right now to just, if we can go to our slides, talk a little bit about Bunker Labs, the organization for the record, and what makes us distinct as the Atlanta chapter. So first and foremost, for those of y'all that don't know, Bunker Labs is a nationally recognized 501(c) that was started back in 2014. The whole goal of that is to provide a place for any military veteran or military spouse who wants to start or continue to run and grow their business to get equipped and inspired and connected to find all the resources they need to make that business grow, right? And so we've got everybody in the Bunker Labs umbrella under the napkin, from people who just got ideas, they just started writing down, or people who have been working in their business for a long time and need to grow and scale and get to the next level. Our job is not so much to function as an incubator or one of these organizations that's out there to pump out the next Uber. The whole goal for Bunker Labs is to serve more like a chamber of commerce. We want to be the place where every entrepreneur or person who's just got a dream that they've written down on the back of a napkin can come and find the resources that they need, both personal and informational, to actually grow or make their business happen. To do that, we have a couple of main ways. You can see on the slides in the bottom corner, we have the Bunker Brew, which is our face-to-face monthly meeting where we have people show up and offer their expertise and time. And we usually have a speaker, some free food, and some time for people to just let their head down, relax, and connect and network so that they can grow their business. It's our job as a team to make sure we connect people in the room to the needs that they have. On the other side of that slide at the bottom, you'll see the Veterans in Residence cohort, which is sponsored or hosted by WeWork. So at the WeWork space, we'll bring in 10 companies that are hand-selected from among thousands of people who might apply to come and have a 6-month space at WeWork and work with us directly for a weekly accountability process to deliberately grow their business, and as a team, all grow together. Those are the two main functions we're doing here in the Atlanta chapter. And the way we make that run is we have a team of 3 city leaders, of which I'm one. Another one you'll see on the slide here, that lovely face Megan Rowe, is the other. And we just saw Mr. Scott Tkeski, the guy on the far left in the ball cap. He just stepped out as being city leader, and he's been replaced by Andrew Davenport, who is on the call today, longtime volunteer, longtime participant in the cohort and in the organization, and now is stepping into a leadership role. He's going to be talking in just a minute about his experience and what goes on. The other thing I want to point to is, as a group, as an organization, Bunker Labs has really made a huge impact. There's a lot of organizations out there that do a lot for veterans and really help out veterans in the point of need, and the stuff that you always hear about in the media, oh, the PTSD, we got to get veterans hired. Those are wonderful goals, and I'm committed to them as well. But the veterans need Wounded Warrior Project. The veterans need, Hire Our Heroes. But the world needs Bunker Labs. The reason why is Bunker Labs is focused on making sure that all of these companies that we're trying to get people hired into, they all started as small businesses. And veterans have more of the core skills and the innate abilities to be better entrepreneurs. We need to equip and inspire them to grow, to be the new companies of the future, to hire people. Just give you some ideas of the numbers that are on the website. Since 2014, over 7,000 people have participated as veteran entrepreneurs in Bunker Labs. Those individuals have raised over $9 million and turned that to $135 million in profit. If anybody knows about the startup game, most of the investments that go in don't pan out. So to see 27% increase is really impactful, saying that we're actually having an impact on those businesses, that most of those investments are paying off. On the other side, those businesses that have participated have created over 2,800 jobs as of January of this year. But only 886 that we can count were veteran or military spouse hires. That means that these businesses that we are working with in Bunker Labs are hiring people outside of the military umbrella. We're bringing in opportunities and revenue to families and people outside of our sphere. That's huge impact. And I think that, again, if we want better businesses in the future, then we need more military veterans at the helm who have some of those innate, inherent skills about knowledge, discipline, integrity that we're known for to run the corporations of tomorrow and to just make a better world. So I really encourage everybody we can to support it. You can see on our website, we've got tons of corporate supporters, but the most important thing is the local network that we have where we, the volunteer city leaders, can really curate the group and make sure when someone comes to one of our events, we have the resources that are available that we know of, and we can point people to exactly what they need. You keep showing up to the same party and don't meet anyone you want to dance with, you stop coming to the party. So we want organizations like YAFCEA to help us. More importantly than real capital is social capital, those networking opportunities, meeting people of influence to make our events a must-attend place for those entrepreneurs who are busy, who are cooking, who have a lot to do, right? A little bit about our chapter makeup. The traditional entrepreneur space is all focused on the bright, sexy, next Uber kind of thing, the Shark Tank types of companies who is a quick turn technology organization that's going to be a next billion-dollar opportunity. Well, our Atlanta chapter is unique in a lot of ways. We have one of the most diverse chapters anywhere in the country, both in the social sense, but also in terms of the ideas and concepts that we have here. We have a lot more veteran entrepreneurs who are starting businesses that do more hands-on services. We have an individual that's got a cleaning company that is hiring 30 to 40 people and is going out doing contract work for corporate buildings, right? We have individuals who are doing catering organizations that have been working for 7 years and feeding people during this COVID with mobile deliveries. Great resources, but again, not your traditional type of businesses, but tangible, profitable companies. We've got a coffee company that's been working and just raised $150,000 on their own, that's out there delivering coffee and actually building a culture around what they're doing, more than just building some distribution network for coffee beans. These are different concepts that most people don't pay attention to. So social capital is very important to find those obscure investors and those obscure pieces where they can actually go in and serve, and especially in this government contracting space. I don't really have a lot of expertise, and we don't have a lot of those resources that can tell these different kinds of businesses how to find a way to be valuable to the machinery of government, how to work with the organizations to find those contracts early and come in and feed those contracts that could be very lucrative. You know that those kind of things, you get a good government contract, or let's say a cleaning company, that could change your tax bracket in a heartbeat. So those are some of the things that I see and some of the unique aspects of our chapter, and no better way to see how that looks and feels than someone who's been through it for a long time. Again, we've looked to Andrew Davenport for a lot of help over the years because he's been a fantastic volunteer. He's a participant in that Veterans in Residence cohort, and he's now actually leading that group as a cohort captain, as it were, on top of being a city leader. So no better person to give you an idea of what it feels like to go through Bunker Labs than someone like Andrew. So I don't know if you've made it to your computer screen yet where we can see your smiling face, buddy, but
yes,
this is the time where I'd ask you to kind of give some of your thoughts on
He
what
is
you
there.
know and you've seen in the chapter, and just give us some feedback about how we can help and how people can grow. So Andrew Davenport, also an entrepreneur, founder of A Good Look Home Inspection. I'll let him take it from here. And then we'll hear from Brett, who's actually come in first as a corporate sponsor and then moved on into working as a member of the Bunker Labs family. So we'll let Andrew take it from here.
I just kind of want to point out to you guys, again, my apologies for being a little delayed, but I am sitting in the Team Red, White, and Blue Firebase. That is because of partnerships, that is because of friendships, that is because of relationships that were formed in the Bunker Labs. So my main source of income is doing home inspections. So again, I go all over the city and outside of the city. Well, the beautiful part about the network is I can stop and say, hey, can I stop and work here? Hey, Brett, do you mind if I come over for a bit? I need to, bump some Wi-Fi and play catch up and whatnot. So the beauty of just having resources, tools, friends, people that understand what it's like to, you don't work a 9 to 5, you work whenever, or you work 80 plus hours a week, and the kids are finally in bed at 8, 9 o'clock at night, and now you can get work done. So you're not weird for sending emails at 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. You're not weird for doing callbacks at 9:30, 10. Again, it's kind of a norm because you have other people that are living that life cycle, living that bubble. And so for me, what's been super cool about Bunker is I found a bunch more me's, people that are solopreneurs, people that are wanting to grow, scale, do amazing things, and not quite sure how to do it, but are not going to stop until we get it figured out. And the beautiful part about what Bunker's done is they've kind of came and they've also created the Veteran in Residence program. So now, not only did I kind of have a Brett or a Jason who I could stop by your office, because again, I can work out of home, but if I'm in town, let me just knock in town, I now have office space. I now have space for meetings and such. We're not at the local coffee shop. We're literally at office space at WeWork, and those are throughout the world. So again, as the company grows, we have access to that. And then I'm in there with fellow veteran entrepreneurs who we're sharing ideas. It's more of a mastermind, a little bit more intimate. And the beautiful part about that is we take all that we learned in the cohort and we shared it at the Bunker Brews. Now, we've not had those in a while, but the beautiful part about it is as you get to come and you get to know the people, you get to know the names, the minute someone says, hey, so I'm thinking about starting a business in this industry, oh, well, you need to go talk to this person. Not that you need their permission, not that you need their blessing, but this person started out over there and maybe pivoted. So maybe they have some left over because they started doing one thing, didn't really want to go through with it, and decided they were going to attack it a different way. But you are going to go and finish attacking what they started. So the beautiful part about Bunker, about the people that make up this Atlanta Bunker chapter is they are legit, they are genuine, and they want to help. And it's not so much, I'm going to scratch your back, you're going to scratch mine, but how can I help make you better? Because I understand the sacrifice you made as a person in the service to our country. So without getting too much more mushmouth or mushy, that's kind of my reason, my why. And again, I thank you guys so much for inviting us in to participate. I do remind you that I am newer. So if I have to say I'll get back to you, or I'm not sure, that's not me playing politics. That's legit me saying I'm not sure, but I will get you an answer and get back to you. And I look forward, and I can promise you, if you guys are okay with it, I'm okay with it. Let's put something on the map, or put something on the calendar, and make it a point to hang out, to get to know each other as a group, and bring our groups together to make, each person's life a little bit better.
Excellent. Fantastic, sir. Appreciate it. And again, I just want to point out one of the strengths with Andrew, non-traditional type of business when you think about investable Silicon Valley model types of companies. But the one thing is he's experienced. He's 4 or 5 years in the game, and he's cash positive. He's actually one of these people who's making a profit, and he's looking to hire new people. There's not a lot of individuals in the tech game that can do that. However, in our chapter, we do have some of the sharpest tech-focused businesses out there. We'll have one of them speaking today, but we're joined right now by Alex Cumming, recently invited into the cohort, elected from among thousands of people that applied to be part of this 10-company cohort here, participating in the Veterans in Residence program. And he's got a profitable business called FlowPath that is earning millions of dollars now. Again, also with a tech focus and a tech-enabled business. And Alex, if you do me a favor, make sure you text everybody your contact information so they know who you are and how to find out more about what you do. But
you can share it in chat.
What's that?
He can share it in chat if he likes.
I said text, but I meant chat. So thanks for picking up on that. Yeah, chat that to everybody, and I'll be chatting my info as well. Because as I pass the mic to Brett to kind of talk about his experience as primarily an outsider first and slowly coming in, I'll let him give some of his insights before he passes it off to one of our more experienced in the government contracting space, tech-focused companies, Love Maggio, who will wrap it up and talk about how she and her company got to the point where they can do the work they do and what things someone like YAFCEAN could help with. So I'll go ahead and leave my contact information, pass the mic to Brett, and all our Q&A will be handled by Andrew towards the end, okay? So thanks, guys. Brett, it's over to you, man.
Well, thank you so much. I guess a little personal history. Grew up in Northern Ohio, West Point grad, and then off to the military. When I transitioned out, people ask you where you're from, and I feel like I'm from a lot of places. And then for the first time in a long time, I chose to come down to Atlanta. I chose down to kind of commit to the greater Atlanta geography where I see myself for the long to midterm, but I've only been here a year. And it was reaching out to I guess the greater vet community was something safe, somebody who knew the brand, people who I know would kind of take me in and help set those right and left limits. One of the first organizations I went to was Bunker Labs. And I actually had a very brief email conversation. I was living up in Portland, Maine, coming down from the Great White North. I thought I would never live north of the Mason-Dixon line again. And here I was coming down to Atlanta. It was actually kind of Jason, who was sponsoring a Bunker Brews event. And, it was just nice to kind of get my footing and know that I had some kind of a network here, despite being essentially a stranger in a brand new geography in a brand new area. And of course, when I eventually got my role with Insperity, I wanted to give back as much as possible and however I could to help them out through the Bunker Brews events, and met a ton of great people. And I had also that backdrop to see them at Bunker Labs later on too, any veterans who were in the area. A lot of people knew about Bunker Labs. It was a former underclassmate of mine. Her name was Kim Jung. She's I think she started at Harvard HBS, now going to MIT. She had a small business as well, and she was singing the praises of this too. So knowing that I had that to back me up gave me a little credence moving forward, something that I could share with my veteran counterparts and something that I could talk to kind of get the ball rolling as I'm getting to know people. And then coming over to YAFCEAN, and then finding out through actually Insperity as well, because we're a corporate partner with YAFCEAN, kind of learned that it was time to potentially break into the private sector more. And I know I was talking to Paul about this earlier. It's finding something that kind of has that dual resonance without any overlap. There's no, I think, redundancy that we have here, but an incredible opportunity to have that creative collaboration moving forward. Bunker Labs to maybe foster anybody with that entrepreneurial dream, and then YAFCEAN on the back end. If you're thinking about seriously going into the government contracting space, let's have a conversation. And heck, if you're government tech aligned as well, it's just a natural fit as far as that goes. So I think that there's a lot that both organizations can share, especially as we're trying to figure out the value add to our own membership in the midst of quarantine, which is a kind of a very interesting problem set that we're all trying to think through. But in the meantime, I think that this is a incredible and very natural partnership that I feel privileged to be, I guess, at the part of this beginning. And I think this is a great opportunity really for the city of Atlanta. But I think that kind of covers the right and left limits when it comes to there. And I'm happy to pass it over to Love and Rob to kind of fill out, I think, that missing space as well, where that tech entrepreneur kind of meets YAFCEAN.
It's Love Hudson Maggio, and this is Robert Maggio. Robert is the veteran. I am the veteran's spouse, and our company is Mardat. So thank you so much for welcoming us here. I'm going to let Rob kick it off and tell you guys a little bit about our company.
Yeah, so
right. So Love's here. We're just, it's
Can you see me?
Yeah, we're here. So we were just a little distracted. We got some good news about some revenue in an email here while we're sitting here. So, we're always happy about that as a small business, right? Yes. So Mardat, and I believe we've got the 2 slides following this.
We do, yeah.
So, we are, I'm the veteran, so that's how we got connected to Bunker Lab. She's the veteran spouse. We had to, make some decisions about our company as far as certification, whether, and when they go through and certify, they want to follow you and see, they audit you and see who owns you, who does this and who does that. And because I'm the veteran and she's the spouse, we had to decide whether we were going to be a veteran-owned firm officially, by certifications, or a women and minority-owned firm, or how that was going to play out. So, we went the, women-owned route. Love's the CEO. And, I work for her, and, we figure out how to respect that.
You heard that word.
So the company's called MARDAT, stands for Marketing and Data, or Marketing Data Together. If you want to hit, Paul, you want to hit the space bar here real quick. We have a, our firm is a consulting professional services firm. We've been out in industry for, over 20 years each now, focused, in big companies like Coca-Cola and Intercontinental Hotels. Love was actually at the cutting edge of digital marketing when they started coming out with digital marketing technologies.
20 years ago.
Yeah, at Cox Communications, and she moved on to later implement these technologies for Salesforce at a certain point. So our company focuses on digital marketing strategy, data optimization, with an emphasis on people and process, as well as technology enablement. So we cover not only digital marketing, but also the business process data optimization types of things. And if you go to the next slide, Paul, we have a lot more detail on that. Where we could probably wear a few people out with what we do here.
We won't.
So our company, again, digital marketing strategy, focusing on the people, process, technology aspects. We provide fractional executive leadership. We're currently working with a company that they don't have a technical marketing executive, so we're performing that task to figure out their strategy and their go forward path. We do partner relationship management. We will build, capabilities and operating models within an organization, just like we've done in multiple other organizations previously in our careers. We also have certified project managers, so we find ourselves supporting that from time to time in various organizations. We have a process focus as well. In the marketing and digital space, we focus on everything that's fact-driven, campaign execution, audience curation, things like that, as well as, social engagement. There are a lot of things there that an organization can do either internally or when they engage partners, and we've done that kind of work. We've also spent a lot of time in the M&A space. My most recent engagement, I spent 9 months on the engagement from, let's just say it was painful. But I learned a lot, right? So I knew that going in, they knew it was going to be painful. They asked me to, feel the pain and join them on their journey and help them out. And of course I did that. And then, we stood a $600 million company up out of a $10 billion European acquisition. So that was quite a feat. I've also spent a lot of time in the data governance and data optimization space, helping organizations. And then there's the technology component that supports all these, whether it's a marketing cloud or sales and service cloud, CRM, that type of thing. Everything we do is ROI and use case driven. We've done this work and owned the transformation in multiple Fortune 500 organizations. So that's a little bit about our company. I think there's another slide following this probably that talks a little bit about us. But I do just want to hit on, some of the benefits of Bunker Labs right after this as well.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, we both have 20 years of experience, me in marketing and technology, standing this up for companies like Turner, which is Warner Media, global and domestic, setting up the programmatic practice at Cox, Intercon Hotels, Google, fill in the blank. So we have these things under our belt. Together, we have 40 years of experience, and we thought that it just made great sense to bring those two pieces of synergy together and form a company. And we're very fortunate to, be revenue positive, to have been that way from the gate, even with, COVID and the ups and downs of that. We've just pivoted and we've come up with new opportunities, like getting certified in New York State and New York City as MWBEs, and just leaning into the corporate as well as the federal, and just, looking at all the opportunities where we can do cloud-based, where Salesforce, I used to work at Salesforce as a director of customer success, and we're now certified Salesforce partners, as well as diversity supply partners. And I'm able to kind of leverage my contacts there to get us in front of the right customers and get other multi-service agreements with some of their partners. So it's been really good for us.
Yeah. Yeah. And, just from a business perspective and the Bunker Labs perspective, Jason talked about, the social capital and the social, networking type connections that we've made. And so, we've just experienced, we've gotten some good help. Sometimes it's some good critiquing. Sometimes it's a good connection. And we've helped some of the other entrepreneurs in the program here as well. Some of that's been just, how do you pitch your business? How do you approach your business? Dealing with certain things. There's day-to-day challenges you face that, may not have really any help towards growing your business, like figuring out how you're going to manage, your healthcare. But we've gotten some good advice from some of the people, in the program on how they do that, how they've done that, and helped us make some connections there. So, it's been a very positive experience. Both in, helped us as a business, but also in terms of being able to help some others.
So Jason asked me one question and he wanted me to speak on this. He said, you guys have 10 certifications, like 4 federal and 2 corporate, and the rest city and state, Georgia and New York. And he said, what are some of the things you wish you had known ahead of time, and maybe these types of networks could have helped you with? We did not know what certs made sense in what order. And I don't know if you guys know, but getting these certifications is extremely expensive and time consuming. And you don't necessarily know, who's on first. So having had some guidance or mentor to have maybe directed us in the right path would have maybe saved some time. I just spent the first 6 months getting the certs. Like, I was like, I'm just going to do that. Like, let's see how that goes, which is great. It got me fast tracked, but it also took a lot of time and energy. And then once you get certs, you got to keep renewing them. So I think having had someone to kind of help guide us would have been useful. And then having someone help you figure out how to build those relationships, because the certs are just a passport to get in the door. In order to really get the business, it's all about the relationships. And you've heard that, but just, having someone kind of tee up those introductions, put those, situations together, be it Zoom, virtual conference, or in-person networking, would have been extremely helpful. And then maybe even having a liaison internally. So those are, if I could think of 3 of the biggest things, I would think those would be the three big ones.
Yeah, from my perspective, to build on that a little bit, getting the certifications was time consuming. We were fortunate enough to have, once people saw that we were serious within the agencies about going through and getting the certifications, they became more helpful. But initially they were like, yeah, that's great, right? Once you have revenue and they see you're actually doing the work to get the certification, then they start to be more helpful. At the same time, partners start to be more helpful once you have the certification. A lot of conversations start, hey, this is great. If only you had a certification as a, disadvantaged business or women-owned business or veteran-owned business, we could talk a little bit. And then they kind of cut the conversation short. Well, when you've got those certifications and you come back a few months later, because it does take that long, they do come to your office and audit you and everything else.
They show up. Yeah,
they actually show up. Yeah. Then they're actually impressed that you actually went through and followed through with the certification, and now they're much more willing to talk to you, and very engaging, quite frankly.
Right.
So, going down the path, it's you get one certification, and then that gives you a springboard to get a couple of the others, which can then get you connected to a couple of the other certifications in that regard. But they all take time, they all take effort, and then 6 months down the road, you've got to start working on renewing your certification and providing information. So I think it's been worthwhile and worth it for our business, but I would encourage people not to underestimate the amount of effort it takes to do that.
And money.
You have to be a legit business. You have to have a balance sheet. You better have an accountant doing that for you, that kind of thing. You better have a separate business account, all those things, and so, all of that, will enable that, but it's still an amount of work. I'll put just a little quick close on that.
Right.
There are companies out there that say, hey, we'll do the certification for you for, X amount of dollars. And we started down that path with one organization that they were recommended to us by our good friends at the Small Business Administration,
Yep.
Who were genuinely trying to be helpful. And, we started down that path, and got to the point where it was like, okay, pretty clearly this isn't going to get us to the finish line.
They abandoned us.
And we had to take it over, and then much of the work that they had done needed to be, redone, or was done, was poorly executed.
Yep.
And on top of that, as you go forward with other certifications or doing business, using those certifications, you still need to know all the information that you supplied for your certifications in order to do that. So in our view, it was a good thing that we ended up having to do the legwork ourselves.
Yeah, and Rob brought up a good point. I feel like it's painful to do it yourself, but in a lot of ways, educating yourself is what's going to give you the step forward. You know, spending $5,000 every time you need someone to help you with a couple certs is not very cost effective. And then you're depending on them to answer questions that you should answer yourself. It also helped us build relationships within those organizations that we're getting certifications from. They become your advocates and they recommend your business because they know it. And they help you once they see that you're genuinely trying to do a really good job. And so I feel like, you know, sometimes the failure is actually brings the success about.
So just one good example of that, New York City, once we got certified with New York City and the work that they were doing that and the relationship Love was able to develop with the certifying authority, they reached out to all of their primary contractors and said, we want you to talk to MARDAT.
Yes. They personally introduced us in email.
So just as an example. So
that's us.
Brett, Paul, is that the content discussion you were hoping for?
No, I think it was great. This is, you know, it's unfortunately you hear a lot of people with the same kind of story about starting up. I've been to a couple of Bunker Labs events. One of the ones that I thought was really kind of, and I don't know if you guys were there or not, but I think it was Elson and Bird, where they had lawyers from a bunch of different areas of business. So if you had IP that you needed to protect legally, or if you needed to incorporate, or if you were working, needed some HR advice, they had literally had tables set up, and everybody would go from table to table to get advice for free. And so it could tell you real quickly if you were headed in the right direction or the wrong direction. That doesn't mean that you get everything for free, but having people point you in the right direction is pretty important, especially when you're a small business starting out. You don't have a lot of cycles, money or time, to just kind of spin around. So yeah, I think your conversation was very good there.
Good.
Andrew or Brett?
I was going to say, I almost went into this a little bit earlier because with Insperity, I'm talking to a lot of small businesses, owners, and entrepreneurs. And I just know, just personally, like through business school, like, this is like 40% of America's payroll, or like businesses under like a 20-person cap. Like this is the kind of like the lifeblood of America. And, it's almost a platitude to talk about how hard it is. And then I'm not even going to get into like the most recent barriers and struggles on account of the pandemic, how it was handled or mishandled and everything else. What I can say in the beauty of this partnership beyond just both organizations, but almost from a strategic thing where it's like veteran leadership, veteran grit in this entrepreneurial space that I think can turn this around faster as far as that goes. And I just believe that knowing the ilk and quality of the people who are on this, who are watching this on a recording later, who will be playing this at my presidential inauguration, I know, well, okay, and everything in between, like this is where people helping people is so powerful and what we're good at. And hopefully making these connections between both organizations is only going to give you more resources moving forward to pursue whatever that is that you have your mind on, and really help you refine it as you're going forward as well. And I didn't talk, I'm in the veterans and residency cohort as well. I have a great voice. I cross the bears. I'm too handsome for radio. So what am I going to do? And well, it's not that fun, but it's the VIR program that's helping me think through, well, can you do something beyond? I was challenged about this literally last night. Can you do something beyond just reading a script? And I like the challenge and the ability to flush that out and being held accountable by other professionals as well. If I could just get off my soapbox there for a minute. But thank you for posing that question and great presentation.
Okay.
And love, Rob, this is Blair here, and Brett took the word right out of my mouth. I was going to say, I have so much admiration for your grit. This is, it's close to home for me because my brother is in a startup situation himself, a small company called Tallow, and hearing your story, it's like hearing his story late at night on the phone, going through the same type of, obstacles. And so what I'm thinking in terms of way ahead and trying to, bring these worlds together. I'm loving seeing the U.S. Army logo here. Can you help me with a quick rundown of how this applied to the Army and what you guys did there?
Yeah, so this goes back to, I mean, there's been a couple of engagements there with the Army. The main one I'll go back to, prior experience, where the Army had engaged some consulting firms to roll out Lean Six Sigma to improve operations, logistics, various other things. And, they were doing a lot of, there was a lot of training, a lot of other things. I was working on a PMO essentially for basically I was the Lean Six Sigma expert leading the PMO for the projects that were delivered for, one organization within the Army. And so, they had various, various team members, various projects that each one of them was doing to deliver either, a more effective operation and organization. I can't talk about it too much, unfortunately, specifics, or some things related to cost savings. So I was doing that, as well as I was also supporting basically higher level training coordination and strategic roadmap kinds of things on how they were prioritizing the various components of this Lean Six Sigma rollout and the benefits that they were going to get in the organization. And, for me, that was particularly interesting. I was an enlisted guy, and, when I was in the military, and, my chain of command, I mean, hey, how many times am I going to talk to a colonel, right? Or major? Pretty much never. And here I am in a room full of generals and colonels, and, I'm basically leading and facilitating the discussion around that. So it was quite, for me, and that's why I wanted to use this example. It was quite a, quite an experience in that regard. So that's essentially what we did there for that activity.
That's great. No, thanks. And a couple thoughts in response to that. Love, I see Salesforce and your time and experience there. It seems through activity that I've came across that Salesforce is trying to gravitate to DoD as well.
They are. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, one thing I liked about Salesforce, I was a director of customer success. So I work with Fortune 500, Fortune 250 companies. And, Salesforce has a lot of beliefs and mantras, but I really do think that they try to, they drink their own Kool-Aid, and they do try to live their values, and more so than any other place I've worked. And I really do think they really strive to do that. So it was not a hard thing after I decided I really wanted to start my own business. I knew I could go back to Salesforce. I always have that to lean on. It wasn't that hard for me to figure out pretty quickly that I wanted to be a partner, and I wanted to be a Salesforce partner and almost kind of approach it like a franchise perspective. And, they gave me some guidance. Once I got my certs together, like, you got to get those together first. But once you get those together and they see you're serious and you actually have customers, then they started opening doors for us, making those calls, telling the city, agencies, hey, this is one of our premier partners, not, expedite them, but okay, expedite them. If you're going to approve them anyway, approve them faster so we can use them. And so I feel like they've done a really good job. They leaned into their military with their certification programs, and they really do with their vet force. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, vet force actually has they have something called vet force, which is basically you can get your Salesforce certifications as an individual for free, just like if you were a developer or whatever else. They do have a part of the organization that focuses on servicing government agencies and DoD, and we do have some contacts within that organization. There was, maybe it was about 2 months ago. Was it May? No, it was May. We were in conversations about partnering with them as they were attempting to enter one of the organizations, one of the agencies within the government. That contract didn't pan out for them, so we didn't go anywhere with us, but. Still a very good experience, in learning how to work with them from the partner perspective, which we're continuing to do.
They were really quick about it. They said, hey, look, let's partner with you. We want to go in with you. And I just think they've lived up to what they said they're going to do.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, both of you, this really parallels so closely to, like I said, close to home, what my brother's going through. And I've helped him connect the dots on what their platform does. And I think in terms of, YAFCEAN and Bunker Labs coming together, especially in a focus where, there's that overlap, and how would this apply to the DoD or Intel space, or really the federal government, the CDC, et cetera. There's so many topics besides weapon systems that that Bunker Labs is supporting. So I will say this, and Paul and Brett can echo this. YAFCEAN, I don't know how much exposure you had to YAFCEAN before, but these are the people that would bring the solutions, the platforms, the capabilities, and bring the people together. So I would love to see you folks show up to another YAFCEAN event. And Paul, maybe we can get them on a larger audience here with the main YAFCEAN group sometime, because I think a lot of folks, especially in the integrator community, would find this interesting.
So we can share some, like I can add Jason and Andrew to the mailing list, the email. We have monthly meetings and different things. And I know I'm on some of the mailing list from Bunker Labs already. I think I got a national distribution, and so I'm getting stuff for Detroit and the Dakotas now. So it's kind of interesting. But you guys have done a lot of other stuff too. I was at one downtown where you guys, it was a gym, I think. It was a guy who's had a veterans-related suicide in his life, and he made the gym available, and Bunker Labs is supporting that initiative. Were Jason or Andrew, were you guys there at that? Are you familiar with that?
I was not at that one. I do apologize. I don't think I was as active at that time, so I'm not familiar with that story. But again, it does not surprise or shock me what you're saying, the selflessness of people in this organization.
And there was also another event that you had Michael Coles, who was the CEO that founded the Great American Cookie Company. He kind of walked through some of the challenges he's had in his life, and he's very supportive of veterans and has now set up a scholarship for veterans at Kennesaw. Nice. So, it's just kind of 360-degree evolution you see, where people are out there like Bunker Labs helping veterans, and people spin stuff up and then turn around and help each other.
Right.
Yeah, the transparency is the super important part. And so again, you have the Maggios, you have everyone with their experiences saying, we didn't know where to start, so we just dug into this. And now you can go to them and say, hey, how would you prioritize it?
Yeah.
You had to redo it. What's best for you? What would you suggest? And the person can take or leave it. But again, you have real tangible people that are doing amazing things business-wise that can give you that instant sort of feedback.
Yeah, and I would just credit the veterans community in Atlanta. There's an organization here called Vet Atlanta that's very, very large. It has a lot of the companies, engaged or as representative, and two of the people on the call here, Andrew Davenport and Jason as well. I found out about a lot of the Bunker Lab stuff through a Vet Atlanta event that Jason attended, and we were just talking before the event, and he's, started introducing me to various other things in the veterans kind of things that were going on in Atlanta that I probably should already have known about, but I didn't, right? And then, there's another organization called 4 Block for transitioning veterans. And, because I was transitioning through work at that time, they're working with veterans transitioning out of the military into, civilian careers. Fantastic organization, probably the best career coaching I've ever seen anywhere. And it's all volunteer. And Andrew was one of the most energetic people in the room, as part of that. And, it's just supporting other people, whether they're part of Bunker Labs or not, and so we really have a very strong community here for that, which I think is fantastic. And it encourages other people, other veterans, to reach out to even more veterans and support them as well. And I've done that myself, right? So
No, that's great, and it was the goodness, guys. Love Rob in particular. When we talk about the enterprise IT space or anything information technology related, there's such a demanding requirement now that hopefully you guys have seen this. If not, I'm glad to speak to a little bit. But breaking through that classic, at the speed of government bureaucracy with right. with the R&D, et cetera, right? The technology's there, but then the certifications come 2 years later. And so there's great programs out there now that will take platforms like yours and get it in their lab now. I'm thinking of SoftWorks, AFWorks,
Yeah.
the data factory being stood up in Austin, Texas with Futures Command, Army Futures Command. Just cuts through all that red tape, gets folks like you in there. And have you been exposed to that? Have you been hearing or seen activity?
No,
around that?
I haven't been exposed to the items that we have not, those things you are talking about specifically, no. So we should probably set up some time outside of this
That would be great.
to cover
Sure.
off.
Yeah, glad to connect. Yeah, I mean, you know, helping GI Joes and GI Janes out is a good thing, right? So this seems like a great organization. It's great to be exposed to this today with Bunker Labs. So thanks, folks.
Thank you.
To add to that, and right now it's been kind of a little bit different with the pandemic, but YAFCEAN has a large number of conferences that they put on annually around the world. And the closest one that you have here would be the TechNet Augusta, which got moved out to January of next year. But you would see about 5,000 people in Augusta focused on the Cyber Command there. So you're looking at a lot of people that are gathering for a kind of a communal purpose. And you're seeing a lot of small businesses, you see a lot of large businesses, you see a lot of federal organizations that are there. And they, during the course of the event, it's like a week long, they will have everything from, continuing education classes to brainstorming sessions to, exhibit halls where you can just see all the latest and greatest stuff that's going on. And then you have rank getting in there, giving the orders of the day, what their really pressing issues are as they move forward over the year, so you can see what their priorities are. And sometimes there are places where you can sit down and talk with them. So YAFCEAN provides a good forum for that. If you want to kind of immerse yourself in that environment, it's kind of a great place to be.
Yeah, no, Paul, it's and to help get your wheels turning too. When I really want to emphasize, guys, everyone thinks, well, if I do business with the DoD, it's always gonna be about missiles, right? And that's really not the case. To help get your wheels
Feed people, they've got to house people, they've got to communicate with the public, a lot of other things.
Yeah, well, to give you the quick story I'm talking about, my brother, his company called Tallow, they are specializing in a platform that helps identify and streamline talent. DoD recruiting right now is struggling so much, especially on the cyber side. So what they're doing is streamlining, identifying, and getting end users on board to create a profile either at the high school or collegiate level, and they share that interest, and here's their profile, Blair Ty, XYZ major, interest includes cybersecurity, et cetera, and then there's a disclosure agreement, et cetera, where now visibility from the Air Force, Army, Northrop Grumman, you name it, are getting visibility through this versus just depending on the offices, the physical offices in the strip malls, right? So just really trying to emphasize how much I'm seeing besides weapon systems. So I think you guys would have a lot of application.
Yeah, I think the recruiting piece could use a little bit of social engagement training. People are on TikTok, which of course we don't want to use because we know where the data goes or doesn't go.
Exactly. Right.
There's a whole different engagement with Gen Z and beyond that, is the mall doesn't do it anymore.
Right. Yeah. Right. So, hey, glad to talk to you guys offline and talk to what I'm seeing. I think it would be helpful to point you guys in that direction.
That'd be great.
That would be.
Sure. Glad to help.
So we're kind of approaching the end of the hour here. Blair, Taylor, if you guys have any closing remarks or anything, now's a good time.
No, thanks, Paul. Well, hey, Bunker Labs team, thanks so much for joining today. Brett, really appreciate you broken the introduction. I had heard of Bunker Labs, but to have someone on the YAFCEAN team able to connect with the Bunker Labs team and bring us all together, this is great. Bunker Labs folks, I really think you would enjoy YAFCEAN. I mean, today, you got exposed a little bit to the young YAFCEAN crew, but I mean, we have around Paul, close to the high 200s, 300 members in Atlanta.
We've got right at 300 members in Atlanta. There's about 31,000 worldwide. And
exactly. Now, thank you. I was trying to give them an idea. And so we're pretty active. I mean, Taylor and I are doing monthly event/virtual discussions in this COVID world. But simultaneously, Paul with AFCEA proper, whether it be AFCEA Atlanta or international, they're doing some big picture discussions and collaboration monthly or every other month. So it's a great organization for networking, collaborating, understanding requirements, and coming together. So it would be great to see you guys more often.
And you know, along those lines, right now, while we're doing the webinars, there's no charge or anything for them. They're open to the public, and we've actually opened them up to other AFCEA chapters. The one this month is going to be in the cyber maturity model that's really impacting a lot of companies that are in cyberspace. And next month we're going to have Nicholas Chalain, that's the Air Force DevSecOps guy,
Right.
and he'll be talking about how they're trying to have an impact on software in the Air Force. So both of those should be pretty interesting.
Exactly. And like last thought, and Taylor, I'd love to give the floor over to you. I'm sure if you'd like to share anything on your end. But what's good in this too, folks, is whenever we have these virtual discussions or these events, there's actually an opportunity to quote sponsor it. It can low cost as much as like $100, and the ROI there is that if let's say like Paul said, the chief software officer for the U.S. Air Force is going to be giving a talk to AFCEA on what he's doing in his space and what their requirements are. And if one is to sponsor that meeting, then that type of visibility, like example, Bunker Labs or Mardata or Mardat, excuse me, just simply sponsoring that, they have that visibility and that exposure to everyone on that meeting. And I think even a few minutes, understand correctly, Paul, to just share, a quick bottom line up front, what they're doing to support the community.
Yeah. Generally, they're given time to give a quick presentation and spot on the website. So, and those are things we work out. It's something that's still kind of evolving in the online space. And when we have the meetings in person, it was a little bit more traditional, where you might sponsor a table, you might have some different things that were going on. We actually had some vendors bring in some equipment and demonstrate it at a couple of the meetings. So it's kind of interesting. We learn stuff too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of the goodness is that we're not do we just bring people together and for introductions and what communities or spaces we're in, but also, hey, what are you truly doing yourself in your space, and how can we connect? So, like for example, I'm over at Veeam here locally in Atlanta, and we're doing disaster recovery, backup management, etc. A software platform, and I run into people naturally on this in this organization, and we begin the collaborating. So yeah, it's all goodness. So I do not want to be a ball hog. Thank you so much, Bunker Labs. Taylor, is there anything on your end you'd like to share?
We put her to sleep.
I think she had to drop off. She sent a message. She had to drop off.
Did you? Okay, great. Thanks.
Just a comment, Alex, I've seen you on the thing here and you didn't get a chance to really jump in. Was there anything you wanted to?
No, I mean, I just appreciate the invitation to jump in and listen to what the organization does. Still new to the VIR program of Bunker Labs, but have been kind of like Brett around to a few different bunker brews. Marine by trade for 6 years, and then went to business school. And so definitely looking to kind of expand the network. So excited to learn about YAFCEAN.
Okay, well, let's find each other on LinkedIn or something, because I know we're running out of time here.
We will definitely connect.
All right. Well, hey, great folks. Hey, appreciate everyone coming together. Bunker Labs seemed great. Alex, you only had about a minute here, but definitely would love to talk offline and tell you more about AFCEA, and really appreciate it. And we'll follow up with an email here. And Paul, I believe, sir, this will be recorded as well.
Yep, it will be recorded and posted online.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, hey, everyone, have a great rest of the weekend, and appreciate everyone coming together. So thank you.
All right, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, Brett.
Have a wonderful day.